Hey, it's me again. Man, I was worried about my Sonic Frontiers review, but I think this one is definitely longer. Last time I reviewed two Sony exclusives in a row, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and God of War 2005. I know I said I was going to do a marathon on all the God of War games, and, well, yeah, I will. I still want to review some non-God of War games after each one as a sort of palate cleanser. You know, as a big fan I am of a certain series, I really only made like one video about the franchise, but I'm currently stuck in the Sony office, so I'm gonna have to be nice and quiet if I want to review this game with— yeah, you know what, fuck it. Hey guys, I'm gonna review a Mario game. Let me just get into the mindset of an overrated Nintendo YouTuber. Hey y'all, Lily here. Like I said, it's kind of surprising that I only did one Mario related video back when I decided to take YouTube a little more seriously. Mario's my favorite video game franchise of all time, so you'd think I would have made more videos about him. I guess I was just holding back from fangirling too much, huh?
I love Mario!
Anyway, last time I talked about Super Mario 64. Well, kind of. Mario 64 is one of the most innovative games in history. Sure, games dabbling in 3D existed before it, like Star Fox, Donkey Kong Country, Doom, fucking Bubsy, but the one that truly understood how to handle controls in a 3D environment was Super Mario 64. Instead of sticking to linearity like the 2D entries, SM64 opted to change the standard run and jump adventures by making levels feel like an Easter egg hunt, each with their own personality. This sandbox style fit the Mario series like a glove, which is why it was brought back on the GameCube in Super Mario Sunshine, and as linear as they are, some people consider Galaxy as one of the sandbox games too. But fuck that, let's return to tradition. After 2010, the Galaxy series was concluded. Nintendo revealed their new handheld and successor to their beloved DS, the Nintendo 3DS. It was released in February of 2011, and in November of that same year we got Super Mario 3D Land. Not to delve too deep in the game, 3D Land is a pretty neat game. It did unique things with the motion controls in 3D, and it brought back the raccoon leaf from Super Mario Bros. 3, you know, before New Super Mario Bros. 2 did the same thing a year later and acted like it did it first. The gameplay was something we've never seen before from a 3D Mario game. Sure, it was in a 3D space, but it was a linear point A to point B experience, so it shares more in common with the 2D games than the 3D ones. Fans liked 3D Land. It was a cute little adventure on the handheld, but everyone was all eagerly waiting for the next big sandbox adventure on the realm of home consoles, and while we eventually got that on the Switch, for 2013 we got Super Mario 3D World. As the name implies, it's a sequel to 3D Land, and as the name also implies, it does the impossible by making the world 3D. Everyone knows the world isn't 3D. I'd like to see what life is like outside of this PC though. It had the same control scheme as 3D Land, but it seemed to be taking things much more grander in scale with multiplayer, new power-ups, actual bosses, and the same playable characters from Super Mario Bros. 2. So without further ado, here's Super Mario 3D World. Also, I'm going to be talking about the Switch version because, you know, who gives a shit about the Wii U version? When we start, we're greeted with a menu allowing us to pick 3D World and a mysterious second option. But for now, we're just going to be talking about the game ported from the Wii U, but I promise you we will get to that later. Honestly, this game sucks. I know it was gonna be similar to 2D, but this is just the arcade game. What do you mean I accidentally pressed select instead of start? Right off the bat, we see the brothers Peach and a random blue toad enjoy a pleasant walk through the Mushroom Kingdom, enjoying fireworks in the night sky, when suddenly there's an uneven pipe in their way. Now, it's not an uncommon thing to see an official Nintendo product acknowledge the fact that Mario and Luigi are plumbers. I mean, just look at the movie. But if the movie didn't come up before I made this video, I'd be in the pile of YouTubers who made the same joke about this being the only time Mario and Luigi do actual plumber work. I mean, to be fair, it's true, but still. Anyway, upon the pipe being fixed, it shits out a ton of items before shitting out one of the Sprixie princesses. She explains that Bowser is putting them in bottles. Sure, he has a very normal explanation for this. Oh hey, it's one of my favorite art styles. After that, Bowser grabs her and warps back into the pipe. And with that, we're off on a new adventure, starting with the typical World 1 grasslands. Let's talk about the controls. Each character moves pretty well, running is nice and fast, even for the slower characters, though sometimes I wish it wasn't as fast as it was, you know, to help with more precise platforming, but it's not a huge issue. Just like Mario 2, each character has the same set of quirks. Mario is the easiest to control, Luigi jumps higher but is much slipperier. Luigi jumps higher but is much more slippery. Toad runs the fastest but can't jump high, and Peach can float but is the slowest.
Like Mario games have done lots of representation of male characters over the years, perhaps much more so than female, so it's actually really nice to be able to have a female playable character in the game. But Shigeru Miyamoto wanted to include her for an entirely different reason, saying, "I would add that cat women are sexy and I wanted to see what a cat Peach would look like."
I agree, Miyamoto, get this man some in and out.
Princess Peach.
Rips off her clothes and gets fucking naked.
You are a gay motherfucker.
They added more moves in the Switch port, like the ground pound dive from Odyssey. It's nerfed like hell since the game wasn't built with it in mind, but it's a nice little tool that can give you jumps a little more spice. Hey, why don't the water levels have the quick swim? It's the same input! I think this might just be the most replayable Mario game, maybe besides Wonder, and it's all thanks to the controls. They're simple, but they're also addictive. Doing anything in this game is super satisfying and fills me with childlike joy. The whole experience is just amplified by the overall art style this game has. It's beautiful and it has amazing sound design, and the soundtrack is amazing. Galaxy made a bold move by being the first Mario game to use a full orchestra, so 3D World making the shift to big band and jazz is just the perfect fit for Mario. I think the level design is great, but it works best when the levels are larger. And speaking of levels, let's talk about them, as in almost every level of the game. Yeah, I want this video to be as long as it can get for watch time hours. I like money!
Yay for me!
Did you guys see that? Ah yes, Super Bell Hill. As far as opening levels go, this one is really solid. It introduces the 3D, 2D gameplay style perfectly, as well as this game's main gimmicks like the glass pipes, mystery boxes, and collectibles. The collectibles in question are the 3 green stars, which are basically the star coins or Yoshi coins, and the stamps that you can use in photo mode. And of course it introduces my favorite Mario power-up, the Super Bell. Cats are already very versatile in real life, so turning Mario into a cat is a genius idea. You can run up walls, dive in midair, scratch enemies in your way, and even climb the flagpole. It's just so fun to use. Can you imagine how boring the game would be if it was a dog suit? My dog just does nothing but sleep all day. They definitely did the Super Bell justice in the movie, it just felt so powerful there. But let's not get off topic. Overall, pretty solid level. The music is a banger too. A Mario game without the obligatory underground level is like an angel without wings. You know what else? A Mario game without an infinite one-up exploit is like an angel without wings. Oh shit, the timer! Anyway, this level is pretty solid too. Like the name says, it has Koopas! If you hold a shell while crouching, you can hitch a ride in them, which is always cool. The fire flower is also back. I don't have that much to say. Oh yeah, sometimes in between levels, expect some blockades that give you a green star when defeated. Green stars just seem like some optional side thing at first glance, but they're mandatory to pass certain barriers throughout the game, like accessing the first castle, for example. You just go up, and there's POW blocks, and there's also a sky section, that's all. I fucking love this level. Throughout the level, you gotta step on every switch tile, which is a pretty satisfying puzzle, or you can just be an asshole and use the touchscreen or cursor, which is also an option. Not a valid one though. There's just so much to appreciate here. Bouncy pads, bitty bugs, the whole circus aesthetic is really fun and creative, and best of all, the music changes depending on what part of the level you're on. I always try to sync up jumping the flagpole with the end of the song. Ready? Ready? Okay. Ready? God damn it! This is the one where you ride a dinosaur through a waterfall all while the remix of Mario 64's slider theme plays, and it is so much fun. There's so many shortcuts and coins here, and controlling Plessy isn't too bad. It's a pretty fun level. Now Now this one is interesting. You control the leader of the Toad Brigade introduced in Mario Galaxy. These levels are a nice change of pace from the standard obstacle courses. Captain Toad can't jump and instead relies on other means for upward travel through these bite-sized dioramas. Once you get all the green stars, you win. The Captain Toad levels are pretty unique. It's almost like they were working on a spin-off game about him. If you have enough green stars, you can enter the first castle level, Bowser's Highway Showdown. First of all, this castle theme has the sauce. It feels so dramatic and militaristic. It really makes me hyped up for the boss at the end. Before we get there, there's a great level to play. It gets you familiar with a new mechanic, kicking these bombs that look like soccer balls, or if you're cool, footballs. Also, the sunset and water visuals in the background are really pretty. Okay, boss time. Using the bomb mechanic from earlier is how we defeat him and ruin his perfectly good car. Also, his theme in this game is also sauced up as hell. I love it. When you defeat a boss, one of the princesses is set free and they repair the pipes that lead to the next world. And of course, the next world is usually a desert. Here we are, the first desert level. The main gimmick are these condors that try to peck you with their beaks, and you can use this to break some bricks later on. It's a nice introduction to the second world. Now this one has the potted piranha plants, most recognizable from their appearance in Mario Kart 8 and Smash Ultimate. For some reason. Anyway, this level also does some cool things with the perspective and shadows, like going into a room that's entirely 2D, or destroying a fake Bowser to have Captain Toad give us a green star. Why couldn't he tell this one was made of cardboard? Is he stupid? I like how this level has a dreamlike quality to it. The music feels floaty and the terrain looks like a bed. Using the touchscreen or the mouse, since I'm using an emulator, makes these platforms react, and you can use these to do platforming and get a green star. In the Wii U version, I think you can blow into the microphone to make some platforms blow away, but here they're automated, which is a shame. But I don't really care, so it's still a good level. Wait, Mystery House what? Anyway, these levels are just the mystery boxes I mentioned earlier, but back to back. They're a good way to earn extra green stars and a fun challenge, especially the later ones that give us like 20 to do. I mean, yeah, these hills are really rolling. Finally, another certified masterpiece. As you all probably already know, the double cherry was a result of one of the devs accidentally putting 2 Marios on the screen, and it ended up creating one of the most fun power-ups in the game. Touching a cherry as an additional Mario, you can control 2, 3, even 4 at the same time. You can grab a fire flower and destroy enemies ahead with a line of fire, and you can activate certain switches by managing your Marios. Also, the music is nice and bouncy. I like how certain notes seem to multiply as the song is being affected by the cherry too. The end of the second world is a blockade of tanks like the auto-scrolling levels from Super Mario Bros. 3. There's bullet bills and you can wear a block that shoots cannonballs and you fight Boom Boom at the end. Also, the bosses in this game range from pretty alright to amazing. The amazing ones pretty much just amp up the spectacle or make it so that you have to hit them more than 3 times. Also, I love how they actually brought in some unique bosses into the game instead of reusing the Koopalings over and over. Anyway, after Boom Boom, we rescue another fairy, granting us access to the third world, the obligatory Winter Wonderland. I'm not a fan of slippery ice physics in platformers, so the new Goomba shoes are a welcome addition. I love the music to death and the background is beautiful, especially with the Aurora Borealis.
Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Aurora Borealis. Now, obviously I had to pick Luigi for this one. I love this Boo level. Everything keeps, well, shifting, and it's just full of fun mechanics. I like how depressing the music sounds too. You know, I'm starting to notice a lack of cohesion with the world themes and the actual levels. Like, this is supposed to be in the snow world, so why does this level look like it belongs in the grass world? But I think it just shows how good of a game this is when my only criticism is that the level themes don't correspond to what world they're in. Anyway, this level has fences moving back and forth, and you can't climb on them unless you have the cat suit. Should have been able to climb on them regardless, like in Super Mario World. What a ripoff. Anyway, it's a great level. I always love a good platforming challenge, but don't pick Luigi for this one. Why is this one called Pretty Plasma? Oh shit. Here's a nitpick. I don't like how the music changes to an arguably worse version when you go underwater. But other than that, it's a water level, so it's pretty meh. I like the sunken ship in the background, and of course the music on the surface is an absolute bop. It's pretty cool how they managed to make a decent level based on the worst Mario Kart game. These switchboards make a return from their appearance in 3D Land, and they're used pretty well in this course. There's a section where you might miss a green star if you don't take a leap of faith, and of course you can switch the rail positions with an on or off block. The last level is a train with bullet bills and the bigger variants that seem to be going through an identity crisis. First Bonsai Bill, and now Boomer Bill.
Launch the bomber, Bill!
Yeah, that too! Anyway, the bullets are a good obstacle to dodge, and this is another World Ender level that has great music. Not as great as the first World's castle theme, but I think this one is slightly better than the second World's finale. Anyway, the boss here is Pom Pom. After defeating her, we're granted access to the next... never mind. After defeating Pom Pom, we're surprised by a boss in between World 3 and 4, Histocrat. You have to use the other snakes as a way to bop him on the head, and forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but the music is really good. Okay, time for the next world, which is... another desert? This level has you dodge all these ant troopers, and eventually you have to bounce on big ones that make it through large gaps of spikes and bottomless pits. I think you also have to bounce on them to get this green star, but if you have a cat suit, there's no need. I remember sucking at this level when I was a kid, but now it's pretty easy, much like the rest of the game. Poison waterfalls, purple piranha plants, bees, and a lot of fun can be found here, although I think it would be more fun if it got rid of that water section. I'm sorry, but the only two 3D Mario games that managed to make swimming fun was 64 and Odyssey. Good level filled with a good mechanic involving the switching colored blocks, but there's just something about this music that makes me feel uncomfortable.
My people estimate we're gonna post -8.
Okay, bad joke aside, I like how you have to manage your double cherry clones if you want to get some green stars.
Not much to look at.
This level feels nice and open, and I love the style. The main gimmick is the spike enemies and trying to avoid their spikes while avoiding bottomless pits as well. Honestly, this level is super solid and super satisfying, and it has plenty of room for exploration. Okay, last level of World 4. This is a level with a penis.
That's a penis!
And it's surrounded by lava, and it introduces these rock enemies that you can throw around with the boss relying on that concept. It's pretty fun. Okay, the next world is, glass. I'm starting to heavily regret my decision on talking about every level in the game. Okay, anyway, this is a much better beach level than Pipeline Lagoon. We're given a scavenger hunt for special coins, so we have plenty of time before going underwater. Oh wait, we don't go underwater in this level. 10 out of 10. This game is the fuck.
This is the greatest game of all time.
The circus theme is back with the gimmick being these trapezes. There's also seesaws with spikes you have to dodge, and the Mega Mushroom was a nice pace breaker. Backstreet Bustle, huh? More like, oh shit, another one?! Visually, this level is very beautiful. I'm a sucker for a beautiful sunset. The level design is also very cool, having you do a small obstacle course with these ants before putting you in the middle of an open field. There's plenty of things to be found here, and exploring feels great with the 3D world control style. They should probably implement this somewhere else, too. Breaking bricks with bob-ombs, or the touchscreen. There's a classic follow the one-up portion here like in SMB1, and a mini game that will make you go so retro. This level is cool and bob-ombs are always fun to use. Returning from Super Mario Galaxy are these flipping red and blue platforms that flip each time you jump. Mixed with the double cherry and obstacles that require jumping to be avoided, you have a recipe for a level that tests your focus and patience. And this level is ironically named because it's not a cakewalk. Maybe I just suck at video games. Okay, so these two levels are kind of weird since they feel like they should be switched around. I mean, just look at this one. It's a castle level where you have to dodge all these bullet bills, and it brought back the castle theming. The one with the actual boss in it feels like any other level in the game. I think maybe this would have been fixed if these two levels were combined somehow. I wouldn't mind a longer level since every other one is like a Goldilocks zone where it comes to their length. But anyway, the boss was cool and creative. Next world is the sky, but I'm just gonna quickly skim through it because I'm tired and I want to move on. This is the introduction to World 6. The altitude is emphasized by the clouds down in the abyss, and it's a simple but good visual. The level is centered around the clear pipes. Oh shit, I didn't pick up the plant, I'm screwed! There we go. I made the mistake of picking Luigi on this one because it looked like a haunted house on the overworld.
So that was a fucking lie.
This is a ghost ship with bullies and they do tend to be pushovers. Again, don't pick Luigi, there's some narrow walkways here. I like this level because it introduces a goofy as hell Goomba hat. It also introduces wearable propeller blocks that you can use to reminisce about playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii. The last part of the level makes great use of the propeller blocks since it's a more openly designed scavenger hunt for these key coins, which you probably don't need because you can just use the propeller to make it to the end. Now we're on a raft floating through a river of poison with plenty of fences to climb on if you have the Super Bell. Okay, this one might probably be one of my favorite levels in the whole game, solely because you're stuck in a tight tower, you have to make it to the top while all these fuzzies chase you with this music. I love it. After the next brigade level, the fight with Boom Boom and the fight against Jevil from Deltarune in Chapter 1, we make it to World Castle, the token Bowser world with rivers and hot lava coursing through its moats just like its introductory level, Fort Fire Bros. The blue lava really helps make a unique visual, and there's plenty of castle-related hazards to be found like fire bars and thwomps. 3D Land has a level from a top-down perspective which references the... Do you mind? 3D Land has a level from a top-down perspective which references the dungeons from 2D Zelda games. It's nice to see they brought them back with this level, focusing on the colored tiles you have to step on or touch, and lighting torches with the fire flower. I wonder what the next level... Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Truly lethal lava land from Super Mario 64 walked so this level could run. There's bullies to push, 8 coins you gotta collect over constantly moving tiles, stars to collect, and blue lava that adds the last bit of visual flair. This is a water level, it fucking sucks.
Jesus, was this written by retarded kids?
The lava rises and sets. Only platforms that are safe are the green ones. Trying to collect things like green stars under the threat of getting your ass deep fried is a good sense of risk and reward, and the level itself is pretty fun and it looks great.
This is it, Luigi.
Bowser's Castle, the final gauntlet of this great gourmet of a game. Bowser's Lava Lake Keep, lava bubbles, soccer ball bombs, fire bros. It all boils down to the final confrontation with Mario games aren't good at doing fake outs. Also, yes, I used the stupid invincibility leaf. I just suck at this level. Leave me alone! Okay, this is the last world of the game. After Bowser kidnaps all the Sprixies, he takes them to his amusement park, which totally isn't a ripoff of Eggman Land. Most Bowser levels are what World 7 was, but this definitely is the most unique lair the Koopa King has the pleasure of inhabiting. Also, I'm definitely not the first person to say this, but just like a lot of other tracks, the music here fucking rocks. We open with a nice and hazardous level with lots of spiked bridges before making it to Desert Hill from Sonic Adventure. Not much to say about this one. I like the cookie theme and the cog turning is a nice gimmick. This level's gimmick along with the overall atmosphere gives me Super Mario Galaxy vibes for some reason. Water, Among Us.
Luigi.
The stage is lit. The music feels like what would play during a 3D animated movie during a scene where the main characters explain their plan to infiltrate the villain's lair during the third act. This final level is Bowser's Skyscraper. A shiny car, multiple trains, bad guys that look like performers, a castle, an amusement park, and now a skyscraper. This game paints Bowser as a rich CEO, and now it's our job to take him down a peg or two. Most of the level is a final boss, which is an auto-scrolling level with Bowser, or Meowser, being an obstacle. Kinda disappointing since it would have been great to engage a little more with it, but the amount of spectacle and visual flair this level has is incredible. The fight starts with Bowser absorbing the Super Bell as the camera scrolls up the skyscraper. This level was definitely built with the cat suit in mind, or maybe that's just me. Anyway, after a little bit we use a POW block to kick his ass and go into the next phase. The music ramps up. We're beyond the clouds and Bowser uses a double cherry to clone himself. This is the most dramatic set piece in the game and it is fucking beautiful. After we make it to the top, we use the massive POW block he's standing on. Is he stupid? Anyway, after 3 jumps, Meowser is history. So, that was Super Mario 3D World. I know there is post-game content to be talked about, like the extra 3 worlds, Champions Road, and unlocking Rosalina as a playable character, which is neat and all, but I just wanted to focus on the main game. All Mario games are great, Well, most of them anyway. But if you have trouble deciding on which one you want to play, consider this one. The controls are snappy, the art direction is nice and bubbly, the music is awesome. Overall, 3D World is a welcome entry in the series, and I'm glad to have reviewed it. If you have a Switch, pick up 3D World if you haven't already. But we aren't done yet. The Switch port of this game came with an extra campaign called Bowser's Fury. Although not as long as 3D World, Bowser's Fury was enough to justify being sold at full price since it's a tech demo for a potentially open world Mario game, but we'll talk more on that later. One sunny day, Mario is taking a leisurely walk through the Mushroom Kingdom. Suddenly he comes across a trail of familiar, icky, paint-like goop. When he dashes over to investigate, he's warped into a stormy...
Whoa! Is that fucking blackface, dude?
Soon after we collected a cat shine and meet up with Bowser Jr., he explains that he and his dad were on a vacation to Lake Lapcat before Bowser got unbelievably angry. So it's up to Mario and Bowser Jr. to calm him down, and I love how Mario just doesn't give a fuck. Bowser's Fury is an entirely different game from 3D World. Remember when I said that the level design works best when it's more open? Bowser's Fury takes that design philosophy to heart by making the whole experience open world. Ironically, this is more of a 3D World than 3D World. Each island is like a bite-sized level with different familiar ways to earn shines. Having Mario's moveset from 3D World in a more open environment and making him do sandbox stuff feels so fucking good. The game incentivizes you to keep exploring because it just scratches that exploratory itch we all have in our brains. Like I said before, Bowser Jr. helps out during the game, but you can choose how much he helps out. I chose for him not to help at all because I am a pro gamer. But enough about him, let's talk about Plessie. Plessie was in the original game in a couple of levels, but Bowser's Fury has the best possible use of her. Since all the islands are surrounded by water, it will be monotonous to swim from island to island. Thankfully, we don't have to do that. When you're near the water, Plessie will spawn in so you can hitch a ride. The music that plays when you ride her is a banger too. Speaking of music, the whole OST is full of bangers, just like 3D World. I'm gonna play some of my favorites right now. Forgot to mention him. Every so often, Bowser will awaken, as rageful as ever. During this, spikes will rain from the sky, and you can use Bowser's fire breath to access some shines. Speaking of shines, getting one makes a nearby lighthouse shine, scaring Bowser away for now. Getting enough shines also awakens these Giga Bells scattered around the lake. When Bowser awakens, you can touch the bell to grow into a ginormous cat Mario with a lion mane. Finally, Bowser's Fury versus Mario is a furry. I'm not funny. I love the Fury boss fights so much. Not only is it fun, but it's just so cool. I want to see more kaiju fights in Mario. Definitely a big part of what makes this so fun is, you guessed it, the music! It's so climactic, and a little thing like the chorus in the background makes it all come together. Like I said, each island is like a level, but what I didn't say is how unique each island's theme is. There's a standard grassy starter level, but you have some interesting ones like the Goomba Shoe Slide, the icy and appropriately named Crispy Climb Castle, although I think Bowser's Fury on Ice would have been a funnier name, the Coliseum, and the Lava-Drenched Mountain. Searching them looking for shines really makes you fall in love with these islands, and once you get a shine, the next objective in that island won't spawn immediately. It incentivizes you to go explore other nooks and crannies you probably haven't checked yet before continuing your search. Back to Fury Bowser, once you defeat him with a certain amount of shines, the paint comes off off and Bowser is angrier than ever, despite looking mostly back to normal. The final boss strips us from our Giga form, putting us on one last ride with Plessy. I hope you were good at controlling her, because this boss relies on gaining enough speed to ram into him. I praise the other bosses for being a grand spectacle and having a good music with pretty average gameplay, but this boss has all of that with the addition of a genuine challenge. Diving and jumping to speed up takes some timing, and you need to do that all while dodging Bowser's fire and spikes. But once you have it down, you can deliver the finishing blow with ease. After a pretty funny ending, the credits roll.
Fuck you!
So, that was Bowser's Fury. It wasn't nearly as long as 3D World, but in my opinion, it's twice as fun. Back when I first played it, I got all 100 shines. I didn't aim to 100% it to get footage for this video, since you need about like 50 to beat it. I guess I went a little overboard. Overall, this game was a nice way to shake up 3D World's gameplay while also giving us a possible glimpse at Mario's next 3D game. Also, personally, I believe 3D World's scope felt like a movie, while Bowser's Fury's plot feels like a short based on said movie. But back to less stupid thoughts from me. Bowser's Fury makes the Switch port of 3D World worth it tenfold. If you enjoy fun and familiar Mario gameplay, open world travel, Bowser Jr., great music and bosses, you owe it to yourself to play Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. It's by far the most fun I've had with the plumber. Man, what a great port of an early 2010s platforming mascot game featuring a character who's been a titan in the gaming industry for decades with a red and blue color scheme, with a new added campaign featuring a darker tone and a character donning a red and black color scheme. You know what? Later on this year, I think I'm gonna look at another port of an early 2010s platforming mascot game featuring a character who's been a titan in the gaming industry for decades with a red and blue color scheme and a new added campaign with a darker tone and a character donning a red and black color scheme. But anyway, there's not that much out there, unless...